I'm not Will, so I'm not going to do it. All right, so everyone of welcome to tonight's episode of Picked Off, the place where I make my weekly picks with the members of the Gauntlet panel. We have everyone here except for JJ, who will be joining us later. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we got the Thursday Night Football with the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Ravens. Ravens slaughtered the Denver Broncos last week, and the Bengals got a win as well against the Raiders. 6-point favorites for the Ravens at home. Denzel Snipes, make your pick and tell me who's winning this game and why.
Man, I was way wrong. Last week the Ravens absolutely put it on the Broncos, and this is looking like a team who is primed to retain their spot in the NFC North.
AFC North.
AFC North. Yet the last time these two met up, they were in a classic battle, classic NFC North matchup that saw overtime, that saw Shooter McPherson push a field goal wide because his holder screwed him over, his long snapper and his holder. A game where Joe Burrow had threw 5 touchdown passes and he still couldn't pull off the W. It's like, what does this Bengals team have to do to win this game? I know the Bengals need a win to keep in pace, but go ahead and give me the Ravens in this one. I think it's actually going to be a little bit of a wider margin than last time. I'll say 31-21 Ravens.
Mr. Dom, who is your pick?
I'm taking the Bengals. Because, and here's why. They started out the season, 0-2, 0-3, 1-3, something like that?
1-4, yeah.
Right. And they're still scratching and clawing. They're in the mix in the playoff hunt, and that's because most of the middle of the AFC is just average, marginal. You're looking up in the standings at the Broncos, the Chargers. I'm not buying it. Plus, Joe Burrow is, help me, Joe Burrow. You're my only hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's the only one that can beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So we just need to get the Bengals to the playoffs so he can beat them. And yeah, no. That's it. James?
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals are in a tight spot. If they lose this game, it's pretty much the season's over for them. If they win, they're going to have a chance to turn it around. I think when you look at what happened in the last game, the Ravens' defense is suspect. Every single quarterback this season
last in the league against the pass.
Yeah, and they picked up Tre'Davious White in a trade from the Rams. So that is going to help them to some degree. But still, I think that this is a bad matchup for the Ravens. So that's actually why I'm going to pick the Cincinnati Bengals to get the upset, which I really feel like they should have won the last game. The play calling in overtime was very suspect from Zach Taylor. And that's why the Ravens were ultimately able to escape. But every quarterback that has played this Ravens team has hit their passing prop, including rookies like Drake May and Bo Nix also hit the over on their passing prop. So if you're betting Joe Burrow over on the passing, lock it in. That's the bet of the week for me. I'm going to take the Bengals in a close one. And I think it comes down to the Ravens defense. It's just really suspect. And anytime they play an elite quarterback, they're really going to struggle. So now let's go to our next game.
Wait, real quick. Speaking of Joe Burrow, tell me you guys saw Macaulay Culkin in his Joe Burrow Halloween costume.
I did. And anytime Bengals lose, they are going to most likely show that as a meme. So
there he is.
That's it. Well, it's not JJ, but it's something. Tyler is in the house. What's up, Tyler?
It's a white guy. You're outnumbered, Jay.
Dom sent me a text, so I was like, all right, I'll be here.
Sweet. It's great to have you. Who you got winning Thursday night? On the Bengals or Ravens? Before we move on.
Ravens.
Okay, fair enough. Next, we're going to the International Series in Germany.
Oh, this is that game.
In the Allianz Arena, home of Bayern Munich, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Carolina Panthers versus the New York Giants. I think the Giants are going to win this game. I think the Panthers are just really bad. Bryce Young won last week, but he was still pretty bad. Team's bad. Two bad teams. Who are you going to pick? I'll just take the Giants. Anybody want to go?
You going clockwise?
Yeah, go ahead, Dom.
Clockwise in relation to me. I'm gonna take the Giants, I guess. Rumor had it that the only reason that the Panthers started Bryce Young was because they were trying to showcase him in a possible trade scenario. Wow. Like, we are sorry, Germany. We apologize for this. Yeah, I guess I'll take the Giants because, I don't know, Tim Tracy is better than Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah. Kind of like Tracy. Yeah, I think Tracy shows a little bit with the Giants, and on the flip side with the Panthers tonight. Legat's about the only one I even is
Have
remotely.
you seen interviews with that dude? Oh, you said it before.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Dude, he makes Darius Slay sound like Shakespeare.
But I picked the Panthers last week. By the way, JB, wherever you are, you were teasing me for picking the Cats last week. I told you they could pull that out. I don't trust that Saints team.
You did pick them.
I did. And so Jay,
Derek Carr has now got Dennis Allen fired twice.
And I called that too. If you watch Megan's thing, I called Allen being fired as well.
That is an accomplishment.
But I think the Giants. I'm with James here. I think the Giants are just a better team. I'm going to pick the Giants.
Whoa. Better implies good. James, what do we say?
Less terrible.
Thank you.
Okay. Less terrible. Regardless, I feel like this game's played 10 times. I still think the Giants probably win this 8 out of 9 times. So I'm going to roll with the Giants here.
If I was in Germany on vacation, you would have to pay me to attend this game.
Yeah, this is torture. Jay, who you got winning?
Yeah, Dom, how you think these folks are attending the game? So with that being said, I'm gonna say the Giants, probably begrudgingly, because seemingly, like, when I pick the Giants, the real Daniel Jones shows up and it blows up in my face. But it's okay. I agree with you all. The Giants are a less terrible team, but I will say this much: I'm gonna pick the Giants, okay, because that's the safe bet. But if Bryce Young ends up, it won't even be a damn shock. If he ends up winning this one, I wouldn't be surprised because, well, they're the freaking Giants. That's why. Not too much about this one. Ugly game. 17-10 Giants.
You know what the only good thing about this game is that if some American football player gets hurt on this football grass, it doesn't matter because neither one are playoff teams.
Yeah.
Next game, Patriots-Bears. I'm going to pick the Patriots to win this game. I'm not impressed with what I've seen with the Chicago Bears, especially the last couple weeks. The Bears have been terrible. They did not look good against Arizona, did not look good against the Commanders. Against the Commanders, they could not get anything going. Finally got a touchdown on the last drive, and we all know about what happened with the Hail Mary. So the Chicago Bears, I think, are on a track of going really downhill for the rest of the season.
I love
it. They they have a tough schedule for the rest of the season. I think they have one of the toughest ones.
Very tough.
I'm picking the Patriots to win this.
Dom?
I'll take the Bears because the Patriots are awful. What do the Patriots have? 2 wins? 1? Because last I checked, the Bears' wins are
2.
against either 1-win teams or teams hampered by injury.
Patriots got 2.
Yeah, well, again,
Well, the
so
Patriots beat the Bengals first week of the season.
right. I'll take the less terrible Bears, I guess, but I'm not entirely like if their skid starts now. Eberflus might get fired before the season's over.
I think it's already started.
They might as well get a head start on hiring their next head coach.
Yep, wouldn't be surprising. Tyler, who you got winning?
Wow. I hope James is right. I'm gonna pick the Bears here, but I hope James is right in this. And believe it or not, I think Jared Mayo is the better coach, and they have the coaching advantage in this game. But I'll take the Bears. So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Bears in this one. I Drake May has actually been he's been somewhat impressive. I mean, the rest of his team could kind of help him out a little bit. That game tying touchdown last week, that was just amazing. I mean, but also it's Tennessee, so there's that. But the fact that he had enough time to run a McDonald's comeback and still have receivers trying to get open when nobody could touch him is crazy. And then he goes and throws a deep pick in overtime to end it. Young mistake. He'll learn from that. But you know what? No, you know what? I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. I think that it won't be a shock. It won't be a shock or anything like that, but it's going to be one of those Jacob Kushner throws his phone through the screen type games. Uh, Patriots over the Bears 23-17.
Are you saying Drake May outplays nail polish?
Yes.
Love that. Love that for Jacob.
Go ahead.
Next game, Buffalo Bills at the Indianapolis Colts. Pretty good game that we got on here, but I'm going to pick the Bills. I think they're a better team. Anthony Richardson benched. Joe Flacco's still looking a little bit old against Minnesota. So I think I'm gonna stick with the Bills on this one.
Yeah, there's no way you can pick the Colts. Anthony Richardson was the other name allegedly in trade rumors. Looks like they're about ready to move on from him. Like, I feel bad for the dude. Like, at this point, he's
think it was a
Malik
mistake
Willis 2.0
to draft
minus the 2 good games that Willis has played. But like, he's the rawest quarterback prospect I've ever seen drafted that high. Like, literally ever.
I think it was a mistake to draft Anthony Richardson. I think the Colts
Me too.
they got enamored with Shane Steichen and the offense with Jalen Hurts, so they thought they could run the same offense with Anthony Richardson, and not working out. So I think it was a big mistake by the Colts.
Yeah, but okay, like, yes, it was a big mistake, but rather than just giving up and throwing in the towel, like, you got to give this dude. I mean, in my mind, you got to give him at least 17 starts.
Would you guys, if you were a team that's trying to get a quarterback, would you rather trade for Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson? Yeah, pick one.
Oh God,
Richardson.
Hold the trigger.
Not Richardson. I'm sorry. No. Young. Bryce Young. Because
I'm saying Richardson.
I think I'm with Dom on this one. I still worry about Bryce's size, to be honest. I just do. I think I'm with Dom. I mean, I don't like it either way.
Richardson
I'd rather draft one at this point.
Could maybe get better. Bryce Young, I don't know. Maybe he resurrects his career. Carolina has been known to kill quarterbacks.
All right. So where are we at now? Are we on to Tyler making his pick?
Yeah. I'll be honest. I thought the Colts looked pretty decent in the first half of that game last week against the Vikings. I thought they came to play. I think this game would be close, and I know some people are saying this might be a trap game for Buffalo. I don't think so. I think Buffalo wins this game, but I don't think it's super handily. I could see this being, like a 3 or 4 point game. I think taking the Colts and taking the points here might be the move, but Buffalo prevails.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Bills, and I got the Bills to cover on this one. Last week we did see Flacco come in. He just could not get anything going all game long, despite what was going on. I know Minnesota's defense is pretty legit and everything, but they're going to be running into a better offense than the Bills, in my opinion. But even though this one's on the road in Indy, I'm going to take the Bills. Reminiscent of the old AFC East rivalry matchup, but I'll take the Bills. I think Josh Allen keeps momentum going, and they will then have about a 4-game lead in the AFC East. So yeah, I'll take the Bills.
Fucking division is like, oh my god! Like the NFC South was like, we're the worst division in football. The AFC East was like, hold my beer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
On to the next game then. Broncos versus the Chiefs. Honestly, at this point, the Chiefs could go 17-0. They just find a way to keep winning games. There's been a few times this year where I thought
we beat them in the Super Bowl.
Could be.
There's just been a few times where I really thought they had them, but the Chiefs always find a way to get off the hook somehow. So, I also think they're just a better team, so they're going to win. But just from watching that Tampa Bay game, it was a little bit back and forth, even though Baker Mayfield doesn't have his top receivers. Still a really competitive game, goes to overtime, wins the coin toss, and they lose. So those are just the things that's been on the Chiefs' side. So I just think it's been one of those years. So I think the Chiefs keep rolling 9-0 after this week.
Yeah. There's no way in hell would I pick the Broncos, not even to cover. Is the narrative is being written. The Lions are literally the only hope to stop the three-peat. Maybe Philly, maybe Washington.
Yeah, Chiefs. I'm done with talking about it. Just Chiefs. I'll take the Chiefs.
Okay. Mr. Nelson.
Chiefs at this point, yeah. Broncos have, shown decency. They were a little better than we thought they would be this season. But it's Kansas City. They went and got damn D Hop for a bag of Doritos
chips.
and
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
and Reba Jackson takes.
The Cowboys gave more to get Jonathan Mingo than what the Chiefs did for DeAndre Hopkins.
Because Jerry Jones, that's why. But with that being said, anytime you got a quarterback, I think he's actually tied now. He's 8 TDs to 8 interceptions, something like that. But yeah, anytime you got a quarterback that's playing like that and your team is still undefeated, oh yeah, give me Kansas City.
I do got to say, I know a lot of people still talking about Jaden Daniels, but Bo Nix is having a pretty good rookie season.
He is.
Yeah, Denver, for where they were, like people, and including myself, I've already apologized for it, but Denver, I thought was going to be one of the top 3 picks in the draft, and Denver does have some, something to build on. They do.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. 49ers coming off the bye week, going to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. 49ers 5.5-point favorites on the road. Christian McCaffrey was limited in practice. He may come back this week or next week. It's yet to be determined. But it looks like it's just going to be hard for the Buccaneers to win when Baker doesn't have that much around him. We see what Baker does when he has his guys. Definitely has turned his career around. And despite even those guys being out, he still looked pretty good. But I just don't think it's enough this week against the 49ers. I think the 49ers win.
I'll take the Niners, I guess. McCaffrey's coming back. Ayuk is out obviously for the year. Debo, I don't know if he's going to play or not. I mean, the difference in the whole thing is, like you said, James, Baker not having his top two wideouts. Like, if they were both healthy, I would pick the Buccaneers by a bunch.
Even if they just had Evans, I might pick Tampa for
Yeah,
that.
because Brock Purdy without all of his weapons is a 500 quarterback. But yeah, I'm like, I don't. No glory, but yeah, I'll take Frisco. Not based upon anything they're going to do, just because Evans and Godwin are out.
Yeah, I actually agree with Bacon and Wyatt here. I'll take the Niners, but I think Tampa covers this. Tampa puts up these valiant efforts, week in and week
Pesky.
out. Yeah, and they get up for games. I think this actually be a pretty good football game. But I'll take the Niners. I think they probably win this game by 2 or 3 points, but Tampa will make this competitive.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with Tyler on this one. Actually, pretty much the panel. But hey, Dom, quick question for you: which one do you think is the better quarterback, Mayfield without his weapons or Purdy without his weapons? Considering what you saw last week.
Baker, without a doubt.
Baker.
I'm not
There
even
we go.
hesitating.
There we go. That's exactly why I think this game will be competitive. But I think it's going to come down to one mistake or two. I'm going to take the 49ers in this one, but Bucks do cover.
But if they do lose, I've said it so many times on our show, this shows what the type of guy that Brock Purdy is. But I'll leave it at that. Next game, we got Steelers-Commanders. Commanders on a roll this season. Steelers.
Fun game.
This is going to be a good game. You know what? I think this is a game where the Commanders are not going to get off the hook. I think the Steelers are going to go in there and win. I like what they have on defense. Yeah. Use that pass rush. Make Jaden Daniels stay in the pocket, because once he starts like running around and stuff, he's dangerous. He's no different than someone like Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and these other quarterbacks that use their legs. Keep him in there and make him beat you. And I think that's what the Steelers are going to have to do. And offensively, just Russell Wilson, no turnovers, play a good game. And I think they're going to have opportunities against the Commanders' defense. I'm picking the Steelers.
Damn, I don't know. I'm conflicted because I've been on this. I've been on this Foreskins bandwagon since the off season. I mean, I think both these teams make the playoffs. Steelers added what? Mike Williams. Commanders got Marshawn Lattimore. I'm rolling with the Foreskins. Like, until proven otherwise, like, that is a good team, and they've cleared that offense around Jaden Daniels, and I'm pretty sure he's second to only Jared Goff in completion percentage. Yeah, give me the Commanders. Foreskins. The league is in better shape when Washington is good. I've said this forever.
So, just to start, this is probably my favorite game in the whole slate. This is a fun football game. I'm excited to watch this one. I'm a little surprised it's even 3 points. This is a pick'em to me. This game could go either way. I'm gonna roll with James on this one though. I do like what Pittsburgh's doing. I think the defense travels in this game. Honestly, I hated to see the Packers trading away Preston Smith. Preston Smith is a good football player. That's gonna help that defense even more. I like what Pittsburgh's doing. Give me the Steelers.
Steelers.
Steelers
would say.
Yeah.
Steelers. Yeah, that's going to be my pick also. But I definitely can see this game going into overtime.
Yeah, or Dom could be right. Be the only one
Did
right.
Did I lone wolf the foreskin?
This is
yeah. I'd take. That's a good lone wolf. So.
Yeah, Dom, but I mean, we was that close to picking the Commanders, though. I'm taking the Steelers. I think that I'm going to go with the better defense on this one. I do think, however, it just might go to overtime. That's how, because I agree, it should have been a pick'em game. I think, that what Dom says, they kind of get the automatic. I think if this was at Pittsburgh, it would have been Pittsburgh -3. Mm-hmm. But even then, you flip home fields, it's still a pick'em game. But I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an overtime game, 27-24.
I think it comes down to the the turnover margin.
Yeah, and just to add one last point, I was talking about the Steelers defense and Preston Smith going there and how good they are. Marshawn Lattimore going to Washington is a big deal. So I
Yes.
just want to add that too. Excited to watch this game.
All right.
Next game, we got the Jaguars at home taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I'm just not impressed with Trevor Lawrence. I know the Eagles almost blew that game last week, but if you watch that game, Trevor Lawrence was pretty awful. He pretty much did nothing for the first three quarters. Then that last play, he throws it right to the linebacker. Wasn't a good throw. So I
That
just
play
don't.
that play calling is so broken there too.
I just don't think that he's the guy that anybody expected as the number one pick. And they also got other issues. Doug Peterson will probably be fired at the end of the season, if not before then. And I just think the Minnesota team has better players, better coaching. I think they'll get it. They'll get it done.
Dom.
Yeah, the Jags are awful. The Vikings, I kind of thought maybe they were starting the slide. Like the good ship Darnold has a few holes in the hull, but they're not losing to the Jaguars. It's just I'm looking at Jacksonville, Chicago, maybe the Raiders if they draft. I'm just thinking about where my offensive coordinator is going to take his head coaching job after we win the Super Bowl, and the Jags are pretty high on that list.
Yeah, we're talking. Dom said Sam Darnold and where that ship is going or whatever. I think that ship goes forward this week though. Jags give up a shit ton of yards. I think Sam Darnold cooks in this game. Yeah, give me the Vikings.
Okay.
Bites.
We could have just
Nothing really
skipped
much
this game,
left.
honestly.
I mean, now because of what he did put up last week, actually ended up starting Trevor Lawrence on my fantasy football, and he actually put up points. But no, before that, he was dead awful. You know what I mean? That's kind of like been his niche. Like he'll play like ass chips, right? And then like he'll somehow start to like heat up, and then you look up and the Jags are back in it. Because I know I was watching it was 22-0. Like, oh man, this Eagles in a runaway. I could probably hope for maybe one or two garbage time touchdowns by Trevor Lawrence.
I
That
know
turn around,
everyone's.
He has been below
I'm like,
I know
average to
everyone's going to talk.
bad
I know
for
everyone's
his
going to
whole
talk about the
career.
game, but that play where they ruled Saquon Barkley as a fumble, that was an awful call, and that's what ignited the Jags. That's actually what ignited the Jags run.
it was, and I didn't even see that play. But I look up, it's 22-16. I'm like, dude, what's going on here? And you just see Trevor Lawrence like making these plays to kind of get his team back in it, and then like you say, through that awful pick and whatnot. But yeah, changes need to be made around there. The only way I can see them beating the Vikings if Tank Bigsby rushes for 195 yards, in which he's a dog, but I don't see that happening. Give me the Vikings.
I'm changing my pick to the Jags.
The one last thing I'll add is I mentioned with the Panthers, one thing I like is Leggett, and I said that's about the only thing. I do like Brian Thomas. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good receiver. It's just unfortunately he's in a broken offense. But I do think Thomas is a nice player. So
I'm changing my pick to the Jags. They played Green Bay and then Philly tough 2 weeks in a row. And the Vikings are the third best team
Tough.
out of those other two that I mentioned. I'll take the Jags.
okay. Yeah, that is a lone wolf. Washington,
Titans
picking one, but
versus the Chargers. The Chargers have kind of flipped. They've kind of flipped who they are when you look at who we're used to seeing them as. They become just kind of a boring team. They almost play a boring style, but it works and they win games. So I think it's going to continue. I like what Harbaugh has done, changing the identity of the Chargers. And the Chargers playing a Tennessee team that's just not very good. They probably shouldn't have beat the Patriots last week, for being honest. So I'll pick the Chargers.
Yeah, the Titans are awful. And like you said, change the identity. But what Jim Harbaugh didn't realize, like I get it, he's just the head coach, he's not the GM. But it's like, hey, I walk into this head coaching job with a 230, $240 million quarterback, and then I'm going to cut off his nuts. and just run the ball 78 times with leftover running backs from my brother's team. I want to pick the Titans, but I mean, it's because the Chargers, before the end of the season, multiple times, they will Charger, but not this week. And they probably win by more than that. The Titans are so bad. Number one offense in the league, 52 points. Defense, my bad.
The thing is, the Chargers might charge her, but what the Titans have been doing is they've been tightening all year.
Tightening.
They play a good first quarter, and then they just give up the last three quarters, and it's been happening almost every game. It's crazy because they're actually a decent first quarter team, but then they just blow it. The Chargers also have a pretty tough schedule after this. This is a must-win for the Chargers if they want to keep the playoff hopes alive because that schedule starts heating up for them afterwards. Their defense looks good, though. I'll take the Chargers.
Bolts.
Okay.
Titans are ass cheese and crackers. It just is what it is. If the Chargers lose this game, fuck the playoffs. It's done. You can't just drop. You're not the Patriots, okay? All right, young team trying to rebuild and whatnot. The Titans gave them a game and beat them. Okay, fine. But now you're the Bolts. You're trying to keep pace with the AFC West champion, AFC champion, Super Bowl champion, Chiefs. So you got to win this game. Give me the Chargers in this one. I do like that spread. I've got the Chargers. But yeah, the Chargers. I do like the Chargers covering in this game as well.
They shouldn't have gotten rid of Vrabel, to be honest. They need someone like Mike Vrabel coaching that team to install something in them. That was a bad coach firing. Go ahead.
Yeah, very surprised that nobody also picked him up, but somebody will probably hire him on the next cycle. I would assume. Next game, we have the Eagles versus the Cowboys. Eagles starting to get it together. I know they had some questionable things with Sirianni and the play calling and the go for two and go for this and go for that. So this is situational football just needs to get better. You can't take points off the board. Taking the points off the board when you have an extra point to make it 17-0, and then there's a penalty, so you want to go for two. I understand why you do it because the tush push is a high percentage play. You convert them over 82% of the time. But you also got to be smarter. But when it comes to the matchup-wise, I don't think this should be even a close game. The Cowboys are awful against the run, and we see what the Eagles team has done when they run the team through Saquon Barkley. Since the bye week, the Eagles have been running the ball a lot more. Jalen Hurts is also on a heater. He hasn't turned the ball over in the last 5 games, playing at a high level, playing like the Jalen Hurts from 2022 that was an MVP candidate and led the team to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. So I think that it's going to continue, and the Eagles offense is going to continue to roll. Just got to have some better decision-making from the head coach. And then I really think that this team will be on the way to doing something special and, possibly giving the Lions a run for their money, looking up at them in the NFC. But
I don't think we can beat
I see the rest of the NFC, and, I think that there is an opportunity for the Eagles. Dak Prescott also out for this game. CeeDee Lamb banged up. So there's no reason for the Eagles to lose this game.
That's right. I forgot. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to actually quote one Rain Dakota Prescott. He said it on the sidelines. We all saw it. We fucking suck. Even if he was playing, they were going to lose. And by more than 7. I'm also going to say if Saquon gets 20 carries, he might get 200 yards. The Cowboys are awful, and they're stuck with
Derrick Henry did, so Saquon, you got 24 hours to respond, or however many hours until the game.
I think blowout city, and I think we see a little bit of a Kenny Pickett sighting to give Jalen some rest in this game. Give me the Eagles.
Okay.
I think this is a James. Is this a 4:30 game your time?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I can't recall the last time Eagles Cowboys was at a 1 Eastern time slot. They typically are mid to late afternoon, Sunday night football, Monday night football type. But man, the Cowboys are just terrible. Then they done lost Dak. they did this bullshit and got Jonathan freaking Mingo. Woohoo! Then CD goddamn Lamb is hurt. Like, what are you? At this point, Cowboys, just tank for Quinn Ewers and see what you can get from Prescott by trading them. And
Nobody's trading for that contract.
Nobody wants that contract.
Which one do you think they'll get rid of faster, Jerry Jones or Dak Prescott?
They can't get rid of either. They're
You
stuck.
can't get rid of Jerry Jones short of
Micah
an assassin.
Parsons. Micah Parsons is gone first because he's an asset. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say
he's the only one they can really trade. He's the only one they can really trade because he's the only one that has value and he's the only one that's not signed to a big contract. CeeDee Lamb, you're stuck. Dak Prescott, you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, if they wouldn't throw Jake Ferguson on the market, I think he could attract some eyeballs too. He's a decent player, but yeah, I agree with James. Michael
Decent, probably rated a C, maybe B minus player, but a solid player nonetheless. But yeah, give me the Eagles. Saquon runs wild, and I agree with Tyler. I think Kenny Pickett comes in about the fourth quarter when the Eagles are up 28. So.
yeah, that's terrible, but kind of true. Well, that note, let's move to the next game. The Jets versus the Cardinals. Still trying to catch myself from that last comment. Cardinals actually looking, man, they've been such an up and down team, but they're 5-4. They're actually sitting on top of the NFC West at the moment. The Jets did get the win against the Houston Texans, but where has that consistency been with this team, especially on offense? You got Davante Adams there. You got Garrett Wilson with that crazy catch. Looked like the Michael Jordan sign. It was an awesome catch, but overall, I don't trust the Jets enough to pick them in a tough game on the road against a team that's over 500. So I'm going to stay with the Cardinals on this one.
I'll take the Jets, keeping their, can't even say dwindling, because their division is so bad. Like, what do the Jets have? 3 wins? 2 wins? 3 wins. 3 wins. They're in second place, and they're only a couple games out of the playoffs. And the Cardinals are in first place, and that definitely shouldn't be. So I'm taking the Jets. I don't even know why.
NFC West is looking really competitive.
If by competitive you mean everyone has almost the same record and there's team over 500.
I think the Rams started off the season rough. They've really turned it around. So I think the Rams are a threat. The Cardinals are better than expected. The 49ers are still hanging around. They're getting McCaffrey back.
Yeah, no one's out.
Seattle's not a bad team either. So, we don't know.
Everyone in that division is like 4
You're talking about the Chargers
5, right?
But you're talking about the Chargers being boring. I find Seattle extremely boring this year.
Yeah.
But God, this game's weird because it's in Arizona. If this was in New York, I would pick the Jets, coming off a little bit of momentum. But the fact that it's in Arizona, I think, plays a factor here. I got the Cardinals as well with James.
What, home field advantage? There's no such thing. I've been 10 years. I'm still waiting to meet a Cardinals fan.
Dom,
they do not exist.
Dom, you say this, but when I went to Lambeau, there were some Cardinals fans there. There were
people that they paid to wear red shirts. Cardinals fans do not exist.
Not even the year they went to the Super Bowl.
According to Mr. Dom, where are we at?
Jay.
So who still has to make their pick?
Me.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick the Cardinals. Hey, shout out to the Jets for beating us last week, especially Garrett Wilson with not 1 but 2 one-hand grabs. But I read an article and it's accurate. Will the real New York Jets please stand up? Last week may have been just a one-off. So until then, I'm gonna pick the Cards.
That was 2 times Jay has said someone needs to stand up in the show. But go ahead.
Yeah.
So if the Cardinals come up a little bit short, it will be disappointing. But that's all I have to say. Moving on to the next game. Sunday Night Football, the Detroit Lions taking on the Houston Texans. So what's happening this week? Is there going to be any trash talk? Is there going to be any bets placed on the show? Are we going to have to run back any clips for Mr. Dom and Mr. J to play on the show? So actually, before me and Tyler make our picks, we're gonna just let you guys kind of go at it.
Oh, yes. Old school NFL carousel. Go ahead, Jay. You're the home
All right.
team.
You know what? I'm not even gonna go super hard on this one. I'm gonna start off with that damn commercial that we saw with, and I have been trying to find the name of that actor, and I can't find him. Dom, you probably know who it is, but
Why? Because he's white?
I think he's actually mixed, man. I think he's like half white, half black, or something like that. I forget his name, man. But he came on there like as a pseudo preacher or whatever, and was "Oh, the Lions! Oh, yeah, the light will shine on the Lions tonight! Ha ha! Sunday night!" I was like, Texans gonna get him. It kind of reminded me, and James can he remembers this when those drunk idiots made that drunken march video, the San Diego Padres, that's what's in. And James is like, I knew then that the Fields was gonna win that game. But yeah, I'll go ahead. Of course, I'm gonna go with my team. So a few key notes here. They met up 5 times in history. Houston leads the historical series 4-1.
Beat us on Thanksgiving once.
Two
Just
of them,
enforce it.
2 of the wins were on Thanksgiving, but 3 of those 4 wins were by 1 score. So the Lions, they typically hang with Houston, save for the last game. But and also the Houston Texans will debut the new Battle Reds, the revamped Battle Reds, this Sunday. So no, I'm looking forward to a good. You talking about a game that literally could go either way. I am not mad at that line at all. I will just say that I don't think anybody's covering. I think it's going to come down to one crucial mistake, and I think it's going to be a late golf interception and Moneyball Fairbairn from deep with no time remaining. Texans 24-21.
I know your state. You had a retractable roof there, or no?
Yeah.
It's just inside.
No, it's a retractable roof. I think the roof is going to be
It'll
closed.
probably be open at night.
I gotta see what the
It's on turf. You're not
weather's
winning.
gonna be, but
It's on turf. You're not winning. And I had this game circled on the calendar as soon as I saw it, like, ooh, that's going to be a good game. And it will be a good game. However, the hapless Houston Texans O-line, also known as Laramie Tunsil and 4 Turnstiles,
yeah,
bottom 5 in the NFL in pass block win rate, run block win rate. Like, shout out to Joe Mixon. This man is doing God's work. 4.8 per tote behind just no holes. None. Nico Collins is coming back. When it's on the calendar at Houston, before I even saw it was a primetime game, and I didn't even know that till like 3 days ago.
yeah.
I was picking the Texans, but we're rolling. Like, to come in and win, definitely be stealing a win because you might be like, I was not buying. Maybe the Packers are better than y'all. The Vikings are not, but this would be a huge win for us, and I think we keep it rolling, and I don't like that spread. I think we win by 3. 65-yard Jake Bates as time expires.
So we both got walk-off field goals and neither team covering.
As it should be.
Sweet. James, Tyler?
All right, when I look at this game, guys, I think that the Texans are a little bit overmatched. I just think what the Detroit Lions have been doing lately, they've just been looking great on all phases of the game, offense especially. And I think that CJ Stroud has just not looked like the CJ Stroud of last season. He's really struggled for the last few weeks, struggled against the Jets. In the Green Bay Packers game, I think he only passed for 86 yards in that game. So we got to see what's going to happen with Nico Collins. I think that he really has missed Nico Collins because that's his guy. You look around the league, Jalen Hurts was struggling with A.J. Brown was out. You know, when quarterbacks lose their guy, it has an impact on the game. So this is a game that's going to tell me if CJ is able to get out of the slump. If he does, then the Texans are going to have a chance to win. But if CJ plays like he has, I don't see how they're going to win this game. And I think that Detroit is just, they know who they are. They have their identity. And adding Zadarius Smith to this team
Yeah.
is also going to help them, help the pass rush, which that offensive line of the Houston Texans has been terrible in pass protection. CJ Stroud been one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the league all season. So I
Sacked
think that
30 times in 9 games.
has impacted how CJ has played that
Yeah.
offensive line. So I think that's where Detroit has the advantage. So I'll pick the Lions to win this one.
Tyler?
So this is my second favorite game of the slate this week, just behind Washington and Pittsburgh. The only reason I say Washington Pittsburgh is because I think that's more of a coin toss. I lean the Lions because I don't know what Houston's going to be able to do to stop the running game of the Lions. I think with Monty and with Gibbs, they got something going. I know when the Packers played the Texans, Josh Jacobs had a day. I think that's going to be kind of the mentality, is winning it in the trenches and the Lions being able to push the ball. And I think now to beat the Lions, you have to be able to put up some points. Obviously, Green Bay failed last week. They still only lost by 10, as sloppy as they played. But regardless, you got to put up points against that Lions team. I don't think Houston can put up the points. Give me the Lions to win. I think Monty and Gibbs both get a touchdown in this game. So anytime touchdowns.
The crazy part, before we move on real quick, the two games in which Stroud has struggled that you guys highlighted. The Green Bay game, he passed for a career low 86 yards. Then there was the Jets game, okay? Lost by 2, lost by 8. So they both were games the Texans were in. And truth be told, if D'Amico Ryans doesn't go conservative in the last 2 minutes, we probably beat Green Bay. You know? So that's just a testament to, was it? I know you disagreed, Tyler, and I mean you that's your squad, and I get it, man. You know what I'm saying? But despite how my point is, despite how Stroud had played of those two games, those were two games the Texans were still in. If we can only tighten up that offensive line and everything, because everything else about the team, the running game, the receiving core, still dealing with a top 5 defense, you know, everything about it is just right. It's just tightening up that line, or rather adjusting to it. And also discipline, cutting down the penalties as well. We have become one of the most penalized teams in the league.
Oh,
And that
Green Bay's up there too. Green Bay
yeah,
might
The
actually do.
Lions have a lot just by virtue of Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold.
Green Bay gets a lot of penalties, but yeah, I'm with
Put
you.
it to you this way: if we run the ball more times than we throw it, we win, because we're 7-0 when we do that. We try to get cute
The
against Tampa and
Lions,
throw the ball 56 times. We did not win.
you can make the argument right now that the Lions are the best team in the NFL.
yeah.
So for the Texans to win this game, CJ Stroud going to have a game.
A day, a
He's
night.
going to have a big day. That's what it comes down to. You're the franchise quarterback. You're the guy. You got to go out there and do it.
The thing is, when we did preseason, like, we all knew the Lions are good. I even said that. I said Lions are contenders. Lions are good. Lions can win this division. But can they win when it matters? It's the same thing with Baltimore. It really is.
I never thought the Lions were going to be this
Well,
good.
Jared
I thought
Goff
the
has
Lions
as
would take a
many
step back.
playoff wins in one season as Lamar Jackson does in his whole career.
Yeah, but still, you're talking about Jared Goff when he was
That
on the
is
Rams.
true.
Well, you're talking
The
about Jared.
moment was the NFC title game. That was too big of a moment. We puckered. 53 guys.
They should have won
And
that game.
everyone on the coaching staff. We puckered.
But yeah, and Dan.
But now we have that experience.
And Dan Campbell got trigger happy with those fourth downs.
He's not going to change that ever. Live by the gun, die by the gun.
Dom isn't going to like this, but Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni are actually pretty similar when it comes to that type of stuff.
But yeah, remember Hurts's first year as your starter, and you lost in the first round. And I said Philly will be better for this, and then they made it to the fucking Super Bowl.
Well, I'm just talking about the decision making and always trying to go for it on fourth down and be aggressive, and it backfires a lot for both of them. But
Sirianni got that from Campbell. The whole league got that from Campbell. But it didn't start out as an
Sirianni was
overly
coaching
aggressive
before
thing.
Campbell, but
Our
let's move on.
defense was
Let's
terrible,
just
and
go
he's
to our
like, we might
last.
as well go for it.
Let's go to our
Because
last
the
game.
defense sucks.
Let's go to our last game. Dolphins versus the Rams. I'm picking the Rams. I said it earlier when we were talking about the Cardinals game. I think the Rams are a dangerous team.
I do too.
When you look in the NFC, this is a team that could get hot and be dangerous.
I agree.
You know, Stafford's playing good. You got weapons. You got Kyron Williams and the receivers Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. This is a good team that they got, and Sean McVay is a coach that's done it. So he's won a Super Bowl. He knows how to prepare his team and win games. So I think the Rams win this one, and I'm going to say right now, watch out for the LA Rams the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams as well and to cover. Like you said, the Rams are tough out when they have offensive weapons.
Yeah, I think
It's the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think the Rams are getting hot too, and I like what the Rams are doing. I think if they had someone in the middle of that defense, they would look even scarier right now. I think that the only thing that you can really do against the Rams is you can attack the middle of that defense. I don't think Miami can do that though. So I'm going to take the Rams in this game. I think the Rams are starting to heat up. Sean McVay's a good coach. Yeah, I'm with James and with Dom here. I think. The Rams are live players right now, and I think they're a playoff team as well. So,
as far as attacking the middle of the defense, now bear in mind JSN went bananas last week, and we have two, and Miami Dolphins have two better receivers. They actually, I'm not saying they're gonna have a monster game like
He's gonna fuck around and take
JSN.
the Dolphins.
I'm not gonna say they have a
If we're
a
talking
game
about
like
this season, I would take JSN over Jalen Waddle.
I wouldn't be mad at you, but I don't know if anyone who's taking him over Tyreek Hill though. But with that being said, that was just in the context of attacking the middle of the defense. We saw, and the Rams still left that game with the win, even though Jackson Smith Jigba went bananas. No, I'm still going to take the Rams in this one. It just might be a tad bit closer than people think because people, I'm seeing the comments here. They're saying Rams in a blowout. I think the Rams go get them by 10. Comfortable win, 10 points. I'm thinking more along the lines of 30 to 20.
I like Kyron Williams too. I know everyone's talking about Puka and Cooper Kupp. I like that Kyron Williams back. I think he's really nice, honestly. So
they got a good team. They got good weapons, and they're getting hot. So the NFC is wide open. I know the Lions are playing great, but these teams can get hot. You never know what can happen. With that being said, guys, thank you for tuning into the show. Thank all you guys for participating. We will see you again this week on Friday to talk about more stuff in the NFL and get into it on the Gauntlet. That is Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, part of the Sideline Sports Network. Look forward to seeing you guys there and seeing you guys next week for another edition of Picked Off.